Legislation is the most important and first and foremost source of law. So law from where that comes into existence and passed by the legislative parliament, that is legislation. Vidhan. Okay. And another so classification of legislation, that is supreme and subordinated. So adopted by supreme authority of state, that is parliament or legislative parliament, passed by the law, is the supreme legislative organ. Subordinated, that we have a federal system. There are there is a local level, province level, and the central level. Have certain power has been delegated to farm law. Suppose like the tax matter, okay, local authorities may farm and charge certain tax matters and pass the law. So there is a delegated legislation. Supreme is the central and the legislature parliament that you see, and delegated, the power delegated to the inferior or the local authorities. Suppose the local bodies, municipality and metropolitan city and province level that we have right now, and they have certain power to farm to the pass the laws. Okay, this is called the subordinate. Okay, sahai, main ra sahai. Okay, are you getting bujiran bhasha?
हजुर सर बुझिरहेछ
Okay, these are the classification of legislation. So legislation is the main source of law. President, I'm talking here, not the president of state, federal state, but it's a nazir, है नेपालीमा nazir भन्छ, president. A president is a judicial decision which contains in itself a principle. The underlying principle, which thus forms its authoritative elements, is often termed as ratio decidendi. Okay, the courts has authority, and only the court of law and the court has authority. Only the court has authority to deal the the legal issue, to interpret the issue, to decide on that disputing matters. Okay, so no one has authorities to decide on that matters, and there is a hierarchy of the courts. The Supreme Court is a apex court, and while making the decision, Supreme Court the establish the certain principle, and this in the same case, same issue, upcoming cases, this principle is taken as a law, as a the precedence. Okay, nazir. Okay, upcoming cases, and precedent is equivalent to law. So precedent is another main source of law. So there are two kinds of precedents: original precedents measured by the nature of creating rules, and a declarative precedent. The Supreme Court has the Supreme Court makes several decisions in different cases, but all the decisions are not precedent. You have to understand here is the decision which establishes certain principle, that is precedent, and the upcoming cases, the court, inferior court, high district court, the courts must follow that precedent while deciding the similar type of cases, if there is any. Okay, and there are different kinds of precedents. I'm talking here the kinds of precedents. So original precedents which create law. Declaratory precedents, that is the precedents which merely apply the established rules of law to the particular facts of cases. So particular fact of cases, there may be the different nature of issue, different kinds of cases. Okay, the court decide on that basis, evidence and other the certain rules, principle that is established, and all the authoritative precedent, that is all inferior courts shall follow the decision of Supreme Courts. It means that that it may be, you know, the precedent that is original, okay, which creates the law and establish the principle, and authoritative, that is inferior courts they need to follow that, you know, but it's not a binding, okay. So there is a persuasive precedence which is no obligation to follow but may take a precedence into the consideration, may take as a reference, okay. So original precedent, and that this is a binding, okay, binding, and must follow the inferior courts and the all the people, or you know, the citizens or concerned authorities or concerned bodies as a law, equivalent to law. The principle, that is the certain principle established by the decision of Supreme Court, that is the binding precedents or original, we can say. So these are the classification of precedents, different kinds of precedents, and the moving on forwards, the reason for considering the precedent as a source. So why we take precedents as a, you know, the source of law? The reason are final settlement of an issue. So it is a finally established and decided by the apex court as a precedence, and bring certainty, okay. Where there is certainty, there is a predictability, okay. So bring flexibility to the law, open scope for judge-made law, bring scientific development to the law, helps in guiding lower courts, okay. So lower courts together, it guides the lower courts, you know, while making the decision, while administering the justice. So these are the matters, these are the basis where by which we consider the precedents as a source of law. So custom and usage are another source of law. You know the custom and usage? Anyone? So long practice, we have been following certain, you know, the or you know, if there is a long practice doing in certain matters, that is, you know, we have been following from our, you know, from the very beginning of the long times, that, and it creates a certain, you know, the habits and habituals, acts and activities, and there is a custom, different kind of customs prevailing in Nepal, you see, you know. And custom is a particular way of behavior among members of group or society, which is observed by the individuals and social groups because it has been established. So there should be the certain, you know, the factors which should be established, which is comprised by the custom, then it is called a valid custom. So custom भन्ने बित्तिकै if it harms the society, if it is not consistent with the laws, okay, and if it is illegal or not recognized by the law and legal system or society, then it is not a valid custom. There may be the several kinds of customs which are not recognized as a you know, law, and these are not the valid custom, okay. So there are some, you know, the factors you see here. It should not oppose to the public morality. It should be conformity with the statute, it means the law, peaceful enjoyment, consistency, certainty, reasonable, and continuity, okay. So these are the major factors by which the custom is considered as a valid custom, okay. So custom is another source of law, you know. So there are Chhaupadi Partha and something like that, okay, in remote west, you know, the far eastern वेस्टर्न रिजन हैन, छाउपडी प्रथाको लाई के गर्यो कानुनले, कतिपय पहिला नेपालमा प्रचलित सती प्रथा, विभिन्न प्रथाहरू, कस्टम्सहरू फेल गरेको छ। प्रथा परम्पराहरू चाहिँ जुन कानुन विपरीत छ, जुन समाज विपरीत छ, जुन व्यक्तिको व्यक्तिगत पिसफुल एउटा इन्जोयमेन्टको विपरीत छ, कन्सिस्टेन्ट छैन, दे आर कल्ड इनभ्यालिड एन्ड against the law, illegal. So these are not considered as a source of law, but the customs which are recognized by the society and the law, they are the source of law. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Moving towards the other source of law. There are other source of law such as juristic writing, professional opinion, equity. Okay, conventional laws. Conventional law, the key word that to understand the conventional law, suppose keep in your mind contract. Okay, so it may be the contract between the parties, individual persons, it may be the state, okay, government G2G contract, it may be the multilateral, international or bilateral treaties and convention. Okay, so these are these contracts, these kinds of contract or conventional law has also called as a source of law. Okay, so it has a certain effect in the law. Okay, so while farming law, while administering the law and applying the law, so it refers to any rules of or system of rules agreed by parties to regulate their conduct. An individual enters into a contract to do or not to do something, binding law to them. Okay, for example, sales of goods, insurance, employment. Okay, so insurance policies, employment contract. So there are international, bilateral, multilateral treaties. For example, WTO, World Trade Organization. As Nepal is a member of World Trade Organization. SAFTA, MIGA, multilateral investment guarantee agencies, BIPA, bilateral investment promotion and protection agreement between Nepal and India. So regarding the business and investment aspect, that there are other several international, bilateral and multilateral treaties and conventions. And so you have to understand here, if you like to enter, if you are doing business, there are several different kinds of agreements or the contracts you need to conclude, you need to enter. Suppose regarding the the supply side, demand side and marketing. Okay, so there may be the several kind of human resources that you utilize and other resources. Okay, so there may be the several kinds of the contracts, individual contracts. Okay, and different kinds of national, international and bilateral, multilateral contracts. So these are the conventional laws. So if we talk regarding the individual contracts is binding only the contracting parties. So you have to understand here is, don't confuse that, it is not binding to all. So it is a private law. So if you enter into the contract, suppose like sales contract, suppose like some the goods you would like to supply or you would like to the sales in market. So there may be the several kinds of the contract. So these are only binding for the concern or contracting parties, that you have to understand. And those parties once enter into the contract, so binding terms and conditions they have to follow, they have to fulfill that kind of terms and conditions. If there is a breach of contract, then there is a legal remedy that you can file a case before the court, or there are other different the dispute settlement mechanism that is called ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution Mechanism, we have in Nepal also. And if you would like to settle a dispute beyond the courtroom, so going to court as a taking long times, the time consuming or expensive, or there are several formalities and the complicated procedures, and there is no predictability, and you would like to settle such kind of dispute with it beyond the courtroom, then you can do it. So there, I'm talking here the if there is a dispute, if there is a any breach of terms and condition while that the contract that you have already entered and that already you have agreed to follow the certain terms and condition. Okay, so these are the conventional law. Conventional law are also also the source of. So moving forwards, the other sources of law. So these are juristic writing, विद्वानहरूको लेख, professional opinion, equity, good conscience, which may apply also important role to formulate the law. So while making law, so the parliament, legislature, parliament, lawmakers takes as a reference juristic sightings, books, renowned dictionary, okay, Black's Law Dictionary, and other renowned books written by the renowned author or jurist or judge. Okay, so they can take as a reference. So these are also the other sources of law. So main sources we have already discussed. The first one is, can you say first one, first and foremost, the source of law? Anyone? The main source of law? Praveen? What is the main source of law? Archana? Ashish?
Yes, sir. So constitution.
Constitution.
So constitution comes under the legislation, eh? So you have to understand that is legislation विधान भनेपछि all constitution, laws, acts, rules comes, okay, under the legislation. Legislation is the main source of law. विधान, okay, विधान. It is विधान. विधान भनेको constitution भनेको चाहिँ the law of the land, हैन? Constitution is the law of the land, हैन? Supreme law. But it comes under the legislation. Okay, legislation, we have to say the legislation, that is, it comprises not only constitution but also acts, rules, regulation, bylaws. Okay, this comes all together under the legislation. Legislation is the main source. Precedents, then precedents, custom and usage, okay, and conventional laws. These are other laws, okay, sources of law. Here we are talking right now. Okay, so equity, good conscience, these are when law inside. If there is no law, there is no clear law, or there is no law, then if there is a dispute arises, okay, so court has to take the good conscience, equity to address, to administer that justice, or to deliver the justice. Okay, so there are some examples, the other sources of law. That is, in the case of Bradford versus Syndrome's judgment, that is almost entirely on the decision of the books of the leading text writers on insurance. So another case, Haynes and the Harwood case, the court followed a conclusion reached by Professor Goodhart in the article written by him in the Cambridge Law Journal. It means that there are other sources which are also important source of law, and there are several examples taking into account these kind of jurisdiction, the renowned books or the journals, articles. Okay, so while making the decision, case final decision गर्नको लागि पनि यस्तो the reference को रूपबाट अथवा as a supportive legal instrument को रूपबाट चाहिँ लिइन्छ. Okay, these are also a source of law, and these are also in, and what these are other, not main source, but other sources of law. Okay, got it? Bujunba?
Also, sir.
Okay, types of law. Law को types भनेपछि, so we have already discussed what is law, what are the sources of law, how law comes into force, and the main sources of law, characteristics of law. Ultimate aim of the law is to deliver justice, okay, maintain peace and order in society, and types of law. So there are different types of law. So we can categorize its nature, the of law, and the governing nature of the law, and the different basis that we can classify the different types of law. So there are several types of law prevailing in the state. Different laws are enacted to meet the scientific purpose in the society. There is no single basis for classifying law in certain category. Classification is helpful and also useful to understand law in the broader sense. Civil and criminal law. So civil and criminal law. Civil law is related with the property and right of individual or civic matters. So main objective of this type of law is to secure the rights of people to enjoy in their daily life and to ensure remedy in case of violation. Example, commercial law, civil law, contract law, and land law. So these are some examples. Civil law always related and concerned with the civil, personal, individual rights and obligations. Okay, there is certain rights and certain obligation. So it's a commercial law, contract law, contractual obligation that may be, okay. And if there is a dispute arises and these matters, the consequences of that matters is certain obligation to be fulfilled. And in the case of criminal law, there is a fine and imprisonment also. Okay. So nature of cases. Okay, nature of cases, it is depend on the individual to individual basis, and there is a in most of the cases monetary, the obligations, compensation, and certain obligation. Okay, financial obligation. Okay, these are the main concern of civil law. And the criminal law is to control and keep the security of the people from physical and mental harming conduct or activities in the society. So it is related the acts and activities, and the law regulate that kind of act and activities and prohibit such kind of act and activities that harms physical and mental. Right? You have to understand it. Physical and mental. Someone may destroy this the properties of other persons, or mentally uh, the torture to other persons. So it has an effect, okay, effect of harming the persons, the mental and physical the position. So criminal law is the most essential legal instrument to maintain law and order, peaceful living, and security of living beings. Some of the cases are universally accepted as criminal offense, such as murder, rape, and human trafficking. These are the the most serious offense we can say. Okay, so this comes under the criminal law. So civil and criminal law, you see here also the picture. Okay, you see here civil. The civil matter can be settled going to court or court law, or you can settle that matters view in the courtroom. The parties can sit together, sorry, and they can draw their differences and settle the case beyond the courtroom one way. Okay, so that is alternative dispute resolution mechanism: arbitration, conciliation, negotiation, okay, and mediation. And if someone would like to file a case before the court in civil matters, civil cases, then the court proceedings will be followed and the court may make the decisions the matters. So criminal matters, it is if found guilty, the accused can be incarcerated and fined. Okay, so there is a imprisonment, okay, जेल र फाइनको सजाय हुन्छ. ओके नि, क्रिमिनल चाहिँ नेचरबाटै के भयो, यो चाहिँ व्यक्तिको उसको मानसिक, आर्थिक, सामाजिक सम्पूर्ण कुरालाई चाहिँ हार्म गर्ने भयो भने सिभिल चाहिँ के भयो, व्यक्तिको व्यक्तिगत प्रपर्टी अथवा व्यक्तिगत कुनै दायित्व बोकाउने अथवा दायित्वसँग सम्बन्धित अधिकार र दायित्वसँग सम्बन्धित भयो. ओके, सो these are the civil and criminal case and its nature and the difference. Okay, so clear छ, बुझ्नु भएको छ? Civil and criminal law, civil and criminal cases.
Yes, sir.
बुझ्नु भएको छ है? सबैले बुझ्नु भएको छ?
Yes, sir.
So these pictures also clearly shows the difference between the civil and criminal law. Okay? Civil and criminal law. International law. So law. International law is the Oppenheim is the renowned author of international law, and the international law is the main name for the body of customary and conventional rules which are considered legally binding by the civilized state in their intercourse with each other. So Lawrence explained that international law means the rules which determine the conduct of the general body of civilized state in their mutual dealings. So international law can be defined as a set of rules and principles recognized and accepted by the sovereign nations which govern or regulates their behavior each other. It is made by the states for establishing their relationship and it is binding for them. Of course, international law is not equivalent to the national law on the grounds of its efficacy because it has no sovereign power to enforce the law. So international law is that we have already discussed the multinational, multilateral, bilateral treaties, convention, okay, state to state. So we can say it's a soft law. Eh? So if we talk the national law, there is a legislative parliament that we have already discussed, and the supreme legislative parliament who passes the law, and authority that is that have. Okay, so and there is a court system, court of law. And in case of international law, it is said the soft law, soft law. So not kind of as equivalent to the national law, which is binding, which has passed by the supreme sovereign भनेको सार्वभौम कुनै स्टेटको सार्वभौम संप्रभुबाट जारी गरेको स्टेट अथोरिटीबाट हैन, लेजिस्लेटिभ पार्लियामेन्टबाट. So such kind of the authority we cannot find in the international law. हामीले international law मा यस्तो पाउँछौं त पाउँदैन. It's based on the understanding and state to state to establish a certain relationship, okay, and certain matters to be regularized by the the different states. Okay, so international law is a soft law and it's not a binding that kind of the national law, and the authorities passed by the as like the national law passed by the national authority legislative parliament. So international law regularize the the acts and activities that is entered by the the concerned states, signatory states. So if we talk the WTO and other the multilateral and international convention treaties, these are also the law as equivalent to law if the state pass or recognize or the that international treaty and convention. We have a treaty act, सन्धि ऐन भनिन्छ हामीसँग नेपालमा. सन्धि ऐनले चाहिँ अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सन्धि सम्झौता र त्यसबाट पास भएको सन्धि सम्झौतालाई चाहिँ कानुन सरह मान्नुपर्छ. ओके, सो बट there is no sovereign power, supreme authority power to pass the law as like the national law, right? National law and legislature parliament. So the international law as a soft law, substantive law and procedural law. Substantive law and procedural law. Another classification. Substantive law भनेको चाहिँ simply the substantive law is the fundamental law of the state. It comprises rights, duty, and liability as well as it defines them respectively. We understand in general sense of law is substantive law. It means that if you have a right, to suppose there is a transaction between Archana and her friends, okay, there is a loan transaction, okay, and you have given a period of time to return back that money with interest, suppose 1 year, 6 months, okay. So and the persons who have already taken that money as a loan fails to return your money to you, then you have a right, okay, you have a right. That right is recognized by the law with interest that you have a right to claim against your friend, okay. That is substantive law. जुन कुरा तपाईलाई अधिकार प्रत्याभूत गर्छ, जुन अधिकारको तपाईले ग्यारेन्टी गर्छ लले, that is, and duties, liabilities तोक्दिन्छ, that is substantive law. Suppose तपाईले आफ्नो प्यारेन्ट्स बाट, आफ्नो फादर मदर बाट अंश पाउने तपाईको अधिकार, that is stated in substantive law and it is called substantive law. And how you can get that, हैन? So in the case of loan transaction, how you can get back that money? So what are the legal procedures? What are the stages that you have to follow? What are the requirements? How you can get that money? So the legal proceedings and procedures, that is defined by the procedural law. Process, okay? So procedural law deals with the process and procedures. So just if there is a right and how you can get that right, how you can implement that right, that is determined by the process and procedures law, okay? Are you getting? Procedural law र substantive law भनेको चाहिँ तपाईको राइटलाई ग्यारेन्टी गर्ने law हो भने, right, duties, obligations यो हुन्छ भनेर त्यसलाई ग्यारेन्टी गर्ने अथवा क्लियरली स्टेट गर्ने लेख्ने law हो भने, procedural law भन्छ how you can get that rights, you know, the way of getting that, you know, your rights, and you know, the making to other persons liable if there is a breach of contract, if there is a any kind of violation of law, okay. So procedural law is related to the due process of law, legal proceedings for administration of justice. It determines the steps or process of legal remedy in case of violation of substantive law. Substantive law को जानेर violation हुन्छ, जानेर चाहिँ breach हुन्छ, त्यसलाई उपचार प्राप्त गर्नको लागि अप्नाइने विधि प्रक्रियाहरू जसले डिफाइन गर्छ, that is procedural law. बुझ्नुभयो?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have inserted some points. So the substantive and procedural law, this is important for examination also. You have to understand here there are certain bases. I have inserted some points to differentiate these two laws, substantive law and procedural law. So these are the bases. So dealing difference between the substantive law and procedural law. Substantive law, it deals with the rights, duties, and liabilities. Procedural law, it deals with the process of remedy. So I have inserted here the shortly substantive law only yes, and procedural law P. Okay. So we can also make a table to make insert these differences between the substantive and procedural law. I've inserted here the S, that is substantive law, P, procedural law. So first one is dealing the matters. Okay, second is effect, that is it has only prospective effect. Suppose anyone commits a crime. Okay, so you know, the birds keeping in your custody or your house, it was not illegal past time. Okay, so now the law passed by the parliament, that is illegal keeping custody into custody or your house, or you know, the in the private as a private things, that is suppose the birds or parrots, we can take example, and law passed that is illegal, then it comes into force and it is only applicable from the date when the law passed. Okay, so prospective effect is there, which has that is substantive law. Substantive law भनेपछि जहिले ल पास भयो त्यो पास भएको मितिबाट लागू हुने के पहिला भएको कामहरुलाई चाहिँ ले गर्दैन। तर प्रोसेस ल चाहिँ के गर्न सक्छ, इट हैज अ रेट्रोस्पेक्टिभ इफेक्ट भनेको ब्याक पहिलाको काम कारबाही प्रोसिड्युर्सहरु पनि यसले डिफाइन गर्न सक्छ। So there is a doctrinal or major part of law. This is a doctrinal part, that is substantive law. This is a supplementary part of the substantive law. भनेको substantive law लाई हैन इफेक्टिभ बनाउनको लागि, हैन substantive law भनेको तपाईको राइट्स ड्युटीज जसले ग्यारेन्टी गरेको छ ल त्यसलाई इफेक्टिभ गर्नको लागि, इफेक्ट गर्नको लागि अथवा इफेक्टिभ बनाउनको लागि के गर्छ, सप्लिमेन्ट्री पार्ट अफ द सबको रूपबाट दिस प्रोसिड्युर ल ले काम गर्छ। So if we talk crimes, it define human conduct as a crime, and it deals about to prove the crime. Just to suppose substantive law, I have given you example, that is बर्ड्सहरुलाई चाहिँ आफ्नो कन्ट्रोलमा राख्नु अथवा घरमा राख्नु, कस्टडीमा राख्नु चाहिँ अपराध हो भनेर चाहिँ लले डिफाइन्स गर्छ भने त्यसलाई प्रुफ गर्ने चाहिँ के हो त भन्दाखेरि प्रोसिड्युर लले हो। सो देयर शुड बी द the proof and evidence, so the crime has on। okay, so अपराध भएको छ भन्ने कुरालाई प्रुफ गर्ने चाहिँ डिल गर्ने म्याटर्सलाई डिल गर्ने चाहिँ कसले गर्छ, प्रोसिड्युर लले गर्छ। ओके, सो दिस आर सम पोइन्ट्स। सरी, okay, and relation, it regulates only relation between the parties of the case. Substantive law ले व्यक्तिको के गर्छ, सम्बन्ध, individual relations and relation to the relation with the state or the other parties लाई के गर्छ, डिफाइन गर्छ, रुल रिलेसनलाई डिफाइन गर्छ भने प्रोसिड्युरल लले रिलेसन स्टेट सँगको, कोर्ट सँगको रिलेसन र पार्टीज सँगको रिलेसनलाई पनि के गर्छ, रेगुलेट्स गर्छ। इट रेगुलेट्स द रिलेसन बिट्विन द पार्टीज एन्ड बिट्विन द पार्टीज एन्ड कोर्ट, बिकज द कोर्ट इज अ फाइनल authority and only one authority to determine, to decide the dispute, to determine the court proceedings, procedures, to deliver the verdict to while administering the justice, हैन। कोर्टले जुन प्रक्रिया, जुन कार्यविधि, जुन procedures अपनाउँछ, that is regulated by the procedures law। okay, procedure law। punishment, it determines amount of the punishment, it determines the amount of punishment, that is there is a provision of criminal। okay, so first the court may decide on the matters. Suppose this is a crime, okay, so this someone has committed a crime, accused person, and found guilty by the court, and later on there is a provision of determination of punishment। okay, punishment को चाहिँ gravity of that crime, हैन, gravity of that seriousness of that crime। okay, so and the involvement of the persons to that crime, so on that basis would determine the the punishment। okay, so whether it may be the 3 months, 2 months, okay, 1 year, 2 years, it depends on the gravity of that kind of the seriousness of that the offense, that is the guilty found by the court and determined by the court and decided by the court। so supremacy, it is supreme in the conflict with the procedural law, it is not supreme in conflict with the substantive law। So nature it is complex in nature and regarded as ends. So it is simple and practical in nature and regarded as the means to achieve the ends. भनेको तपाईको जस्टिस प्राप्त गर्ने, लक्ष्य प्राप्त गर्ने के हो त भन्दाखेरि प्रोसिड्युरल ल चाहिँ मिन्स हो, एउटा साधन हो, प्रोसिड्युर्स, वे, रेमेडी, वे फरवार्ड गर्छ भने सब्स्टेन्टिभ ल चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि यो चाहिँ इट्स द इन्स आफै एउटा it has the granted the personal or individuals rights, duties and obligation. भनेको इन्स प्राप्त गर्न अथवा उद्देश्य लक्ष्य प्राप्त गर्ने चाहिँ साधन स्रोतको रूपबाट चाहिँ अथवा एज अ इन्स्ट्रुमेन्टको रूपबाट चाहिँ एज अ मिन्सको रूपबाट एज अ रेमेडीको वे फरवार्डको रूपबाट चाहिँ प्रोसिड्युर ल इज डिफाइन्ड. ओके, सो प्रोसिड्युर ल एन्ड सब्स्टेन्सिभ ल, दिज आर द मेजर differences and the basis that I have inserted here. And have you any confusion, questions regarding this? So we are about to complete today's session. सबै क्लियर छ, बुझ्नु भएको छ?
हजुर सर, बुझेछ.
Okay. Thank you so much for all of you. Today's session is over. If you don't have any questions, queries, confusion, okay. Thank you so much. See you on next session. Stay safe. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day, sir.